Topic is types of agriculture. You have heard the word agriculture many a times. You know what is agriculture is? Agriculture is farming a land. A farmer, when they farm a land and grows crops for us, that is known as agriculture. Agriculture is a very old word for us, that because this word is with human being from when the civilization started. Indus Valley civilization, you can say, Egyptian civilization, everywhere you will find that the main occupation of the people of those times was agriculture. Now, the word agriculture is derived from a Latin word which is made by two words, that is, ager means field and cultura, cultura means cultivate, which is completely meaning cultivating a field. Now, agriculture includes ranges of activities like cattle rearing, poultry farming, rearing fishes, etc. etc. As it is the most important occupation in maximum part of the world, Asia and Africa, here more than 50% of the people are employed in agriculture. Food grains are the most important products for that comes from agriculture. There are different forms of agriculture practiced around the world. First one I am telling is subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is practiced by farmers who own small piece of lands, and those farmers use those lands for their own consumption. They cultivate their crops. Consumption means for their own use. They generally grow rice and vegetables using organic or natural fertilizers, and for such cultivations they depend on monsoon. Whereas the other form is intensive farming. Intensive farming is also practiced in a small piece of land, but in this farming the farmer tries to get a large amount of crops from a small piece of land. For this they use fertilizer, high yielding seeds, expensive for agricultural things they use, so that they can get good amount of grains from the small piece of land which they can sell and earn money. In such farmings, the farmer require helpers, so they acquire helpers because in a small period of time they have to do much works. Not only this, in such farmings rice, wheat, maize, etc. is grown, which give them cash. In this type of cultivation, different methods are adopted to get much product, like double cropping, multiple cropping, or crop rotation. By using crop rotation methods and irrigation, they maintain the fertility of the soil, because first, if a rice is grown, they utilize some of the fertility of the soil. Again, such such crops are grown which gives back the fertility to the soil. I am not going much details about it. Next is extensive farming. Extensive farming is practiced in areas of low population, where the population is not much and where plenty of land is available. Plenty of land means hectares of land is available. Less human labor is available because of small population. So, in such farming, they use machineries. So, such extensive farmings are based on machine farming. Like in USA, they use machine for each and every aspect of farming, from sowing, cutting, and even in packing. Nowadays, in India also, such farmings are done in Haryana and Punjab. Next comes shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn cultivation. What does shifting cultivation mean? Shifting cultivation is practiced by tribal people where they cut a piece of land, or as they live in jungles or forest areas, they free a piece of land, they cut the trees of that forest area, and they do yielding or they do farming there. But after some time, when the fertility of the soil is completed, it's come to an end, they leave those places and move forwards. Now, why it is known as slash and burn? Slash and burn is told because they slashes it. That means with some sword or something, they cut out the plants, small plants, then they put it somewhere and they burn it so that the soil is fertile, and then the land is used for cultivation. For such cultivation, they are dependent on monsoon rains. What do? They scatter the seeds and they wait for the monsoons to come so that the land get waters and the seed is get growing and they get crops. Such agricultural practices sometimes creates problem for people because when the fertility of the land is finished, it does not give good yielding, then they leave those places and move forward. Again, a part of the land or the forest is being slashed out and it is being used for farming. Now, the land which they have left behind is open and it is left empty. As it has lost its fertility, there is no trees are there, nothing is there. Those soils get dried up and the fertility of the top layer of the soil goes away, and in this way other types of soil conservation is not done, so different problems arises. So slash and burning fertilization cultivation is not a good way of cultivation. If it is done also, the land which is being left behind, some grasses or some other plants, seeds should be dropped there so that the grass are covered and it is not been blown away by the wind. Okay, so where does such cultivation done? It is mostly done in the Amazon basin, Indonesia, Malaysia, or in the Zaire basin. In India also, some parts of Andhra Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, there such practices are done. Shifting cultivation have different names in different parts, like it is known as zooming cultivation in India, ladding in Indonesia, China in Sri Lanka, Roca in Brazil, and Milak in Central America.